Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending upon your time zone. I'm David Breslauer, and I wanted to welcome you to today's edition of our Talk to Our Expert series. Today, we're going to talk about MerlinMX version 5.6, which is just about to come out of QA, and we'll begin contacting customers in the next few weeks about doing upgrades for you. So I wanted to use this as an opportunity to kind of let you know about some of the cool new enhancements that we're going to see. So as always, for today's webinar, we're going to make it short and sweet. It will be less than 30 minutes. I am recording this, so it will be available on our YouTube page. Please ask your questions in the chat window. I'll go over and look at that periodically. And questions do not need to be related to today's topic. I'll talk to you about just about anything if you'd like. And as always, we welcome your suggestions for future topics. So first, I want to talk about some back-end enhancements to Merlin 5.6. These things that you won't really be able to access on the web UI, but you will be able to have these things turned on or off with the help of our customer service people. So the first thing, and this is kind of a biggie, with lots of customers that have asked for this, is right now when you download a video file, going to download the video as the res. Well, for customers, they don't want high res on download, just want to get a copy of video proxy. You might recall that is configurable. We can change the size of proxies on the server. We want something a little bit higher than what we typically do. And then when you go to download the video, it will deliver it to you at that proxy resolution. And what we have to do is put a UI on it eventually so that you can use at the time of download. For right now, it's a server-side setting, and you would choose your downloads to be either in high res or in proxy. You wouldn't be able to switch back and forth just yet. The other thing we've been asked for is have the create date displayed down to the second. And we have some customers that have multiple cameras at events, and they wanted to be able to discern when content was made in relation to the other cameras. And so now that create date is displayable down to the second. For some of our other customers, particularly those who have made their Merlin outward facing, we've enabled the right mouse click, which would allow people to click on a thumbnail and save the thumbnail out to their local computer. This is a way to discourage people from grabbing thumbnails rather than going through the proper mechanism of output or requesting an output or requesting an order, depending on how your Merlin is configured. Again, it won't keep people from making screenshots of your content, but this is something to help discourage honest people. So that's what that's for, and that is a server configuration. The other new thing that I really can't show you right now, but I know some of you that are using the order form are anxious to have this, and so the order form will be available to you for your mobile users as well. When you log in Merlin from your browser, your phone, or your tablet, or you guest login if you've got something set up for a guest login, the order form will now be available for those users, which it previously wasn't. So there's some server-side enhancements I wanted to mention to you. I'm not going to show them to you, but I did want to talk about that so you are aware of them. Some new enhancements in the web user interface, and I'm just going to mention each one of these briefly and talk about them so briefly here, and then we'll go switch to the actual client and show you how these usually work. So we now allow to zoom in on single view. We've had customers in the past ask about being able to zoom in. I want to see if someone's eyes are open. Are they smiling? Is the picture sharp? I'm trying to identify that person in the background. So we're going to allow you to zoom in on the single view. Also related to the single view is we're going to allow you to save your own crop templates. In the previous version of Merlin, you could use our predefined crop template. Well, we're now allowing you to save your own crop templates as well. Commonly used sizes and resolutions and orientations will be saved, and you can access them anytime. They're saved to the individual. If you need those same crop templates distributed out to your other users, that's something we can do. We ask that you work with our customer service departments to populate your other users with crop templates created by another specific user or an admin. Something else that I'm really super excited about, being able to add additional searchable metadata at time of output. I'm going to show you how that works. Quite configurable, even take you into the admin UI to show you how you set that up. Really excited about being able to add history at the time of output. Also related to output, the share and email link forms also now include the ability to add subject and message areas as part of sending those links. So that's something that's new as well. And it also includes output history. So we'll show you that. You can share private collections. We know that collections, that are private are intended to be private, but we've made it easy for you to say, hey, I've created a private collection. I just want you to see what's in it. And so we've made it possible to share a private collection. I'll show you how that works. If you're trying to download a large amount of content, Merlin's going to warn you just to let you know that it may take a little bit longer for the files to be gathered up or for the files to be delivered to you. It will still allow that download to happen, but it's just to warn you that you're exporting a lot of data, and so it will flag it as part of the output process. We have some new admin modules that cover input rules. That's probably more for MerlinOne staff, but also the admin module for managing your output history. That's probably the key point in this bullet, is to talk about your output history that we talked about earlier, and I'll show you that. We've got some new reports, so you can search on comments and also group entitlements. We have a new sort that allows you to sort by items that have comments on them. So the items with the most comments will sort to the top. Here's another nice one that I think you'll like. You can actually copy a collection link to the clipboard. So rather than just emailing a link to a collection, you can now copy that to your clipboard and paste it to other applications or into emails. We've also improved the ability to search on file sizes. I'll show you that. And because Twitter increased their capability to support twice as many characters, went from 140 to 280. If you're really big on tweeting, we support the 280 characters as well. So that's going to be in version 5.6. So without further ado, let's jump out of the slides. And let me take you straight away into Merlin, and we'll talk about, and I'll show you some of these new pieces of functionality. By the way, all of these new pieces of functionality are clearly identified in the new version of the Merlin manual. And don't forget to get the version of the Merlin manual that supports the version of Merlin that's installed on your particular Merlin. You would get to that by going to the options area and choosing download the manual, and it will deliver the appropriate manual for whatever version of Merlin you are running. If you are interested in having a copy of the Merlin manual early, just pop any one of us. You can pop a note to me or my colleague, Sarita Morrison, on the call, or to anybody in customer service, and they'll be glad to get you the new version of the manual, even though you may not have the software yet, because you might like to have that in advance. Okay, what I wanted to talk about right now is zooming in on single view. So a simple double click brings the item up large, and I want you to notice that in addition to my crop menu in my single item toolbar and my color codes, and these things aren't new, those have been there a while, I now have the ability to zoom in on content, and then using the scroll command, I'm able to move around my content if I want to do that. So I can scroll to the bottom, scroll to the top, scroll to the middle, and then I can minus it out if I want to. Okay, so that's a pretty nice feature, and that's something that's new. While we're here, let's talk about our crop templates. So, and actually before we do, I'm going to pause for a minute and see if we have any questions. So just as a quick recap then. So my plus button allows me to zoom in on my content. The minus button allows me to zoom out. And of course, I can use these scroll bars at the side and on the bottom to move around the content. So while we're here, I wanted to talk about our crop templates. Okay, and so I click on the crop tool, and this is not new. You've always been able to invoke these predefined templates like 16:9 or 5:4 or 4:5 or whatever you want, but you can now crop an image to be whatever you want. So if you knew you wanted this image to be a certain number of pixels across, right? So we could work in pixels if we wanted to, and you knew you wanted to be exactly 770 pixels, I could lock that. And let's say you knew you also wanted to be a certain number of pixels high, and so maybe you want it to be 400 pixels high. You'd be able to lock that dimension, and so here's my crop that represents that. And what I can do is down here in my template area, and this is what's new, is I can save this template and give it a name. So I'm just going to call this, you know, standard wide view, okay, or whatever you want it to be. And I'm going to save that. And so that becomes available as a custom template anytime I want to crop an image. So you can save as many custom crop templates as you would like here. And again, if you have some standardized templates that you want all users to take advantage of, all you have to do is let our folks in customer service know, and they'll work with you to get your templates populated out to all of your users so that they have access to them as well. When you're tired of a template, you can delete it, again, simply by highlighting it and coming down and saying, I'd like to delete that template, and it will remove it from your list. Well, next time I come back in, I'd have to actually save my changes. Okay, so that's a little bit about saving a user-defined crop template, and we like that feature. Okay, we're going to cancel out. Hi, everybody. I am just Snakebook with audio today. It just completely disappeared on me. So we're back. Let me know again if it goes away. Yay, it's back. Thanks. I'm going to have to keep watching the comments and questions. It's a test to make sure I'm paying attention. So we were, and I knew it right away, so that's good news. And so we were talking about adding history at the time of output. So let's just start with a simple basic download. Okay, so I'm going to click my download button, and notice at the top of the area should look pretty much the same. Some things may have been rearranged a little bit, but it's the same information. So this hasn't changed. But what is new is this output history area. And the reason my output history shows up opened up rather than minimized like it is now is because one of the fields here is mandatory. And so we've actually set up a field here so that your users, and this is all configurable. You choose the fields that appear here, and it can be different for different types of outputs, downloads, or exports, and I'll show you that in a moment. You choose the fields that are mandatory, and you also choose the fields, the values that show up in the pick lists, right? So in this particular pick list, it's got two items, marketing and foundation. So I can choose that. And I've got a usage date, and my calendar picker shows up, so I can add a usage date. And I can add how was this item intended to be used. So I'm choosing web. But notice that this particular one is mandatory, agree to rights usage terms. It has a single value in it of yes. Because if you don't agree, it's not going to let you download the content, okay? And now I'm going to click download, and it's going to go get that picture and deliver it to me, okay? So, and this dialog box disappears, and there's the picture opening up in Photoshop. Let me just go make sure everybody is still with me with my audio. It appears that we are. Okay, we're going to get rid of Photoshop for right now. So instead of doing a straight download, let's do a share. Okay, so if I go to sharing, and if I wanted to go email a link, notice if I scroll down, my output history is minimized. Okay, and that's because nothing in the share for output history is set to mandatory. But if I want to, I can click it open, and you can see I've got the same fields in this case, my department. Oh, notice I don't have the mandatory field here for the rights usage terms. Do we agree to the terms? So I just have these departments. Notice my departments are different than we looked at in the previous list. So again, I made it so not only is my history different here, but also my pick lists are different for this view as well, okay? Same thing with Facebook. If I'm using Facebook, I again, in addition to the normal Facebook information that I want to use, I can add additional information if I want to, but again, it's not mandatory, which is why my output history shows up minimized. Finally, if I were going to use, so I'm going to close this, if I'm going to drag to one of my targets, one of my workflow targets, and I'll just drag to any of them at random. So we'll say we're going to drag this one to my easy publish target. Again, I've got my output history, and I can change this so that it's different for different types of exports. And in a moment, I'm going to show you how you configure that, okay? We won't spend a lot of time there, but I'm going to show you how we configure that. Okay. So let's go to my administration area, and we're going to go to a new item here called output history. Okay, so this is something new. We're going to click output history, and notice it starts out quite simple. I can choose the user group I want this output history form to apply to, and it could be everybody, or it could be one of my specific user groups in Merlin. We'll leave it for everybody right now. And then you can also choose what type of output it applies to. So default would make it the same for everybody. But notice I also have the ability to change it if I want downloads to behave one way, and emails to behave a different way, and Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube to behave a third way, or fourth way, or a fifth way, and my output, and this is my drag and drop to my server target, to behave a sixth way. So I can have a different output history that is specifically configured for each one of these output types, and I can make it different for different classes of users, right? And what's really cool is this becomes additional searchable metadata, and it shows up as part of an item's history, and it also shows up in reports, okay? So we're really excited about the output history. Okay, so I'm going to get out of my admin area, unless somebody's got some questions about that. I'm going to close my admin area, and I want to go through a couple of other things, okay? So there's some new reports. There's a new sort, so you can say I'd like to sort by comments, okay? And don't forget, a lot of these sort orders may not be relevant to you, so as an admin user, you can remove the sort orders that you're not interested in. So if you would never sort by comments, you as an admin user could remove this from the list. Same thing, we're now also sorting by file size, and you can add that if you don't want to use that. But I'm going to use that to segue into my improved file size search. So to get to my expanded search options, I just click the plus button, and I can search by anything I choose that's been given to me by the admin user, and I want to change it to file size. And so again, now I can choose to search by bits, kilobytes, megabytes, or gigabytes. And again, I can say I'm looking for anything that is greater than or equal to, 1 gig. Okay, I don't know if I have any files in there that are that size, but we'll run a search on that. No, we didn't get anything, but now we'll search by 1 meg, and we'll get lots of files, right? Because I've got lots of files that are bigger than 1 meg, and now we can make it larger than 10 megs. And I even have some files in here that are larger than 10 megs, okay? So you can see how easy it is to save your file size search, that you can save that as a saved search, and you can also sort on file size. So those are things that you can now do. A couple of other things I wanted to talk about. Collections. So something that's new, a private collection, I can actually email a link to a private collection. So that's something that's new. Even though it's private, I can email that link. The user would log in. They'll see the results of that collection search. They won't be able to add to the collection. They won't be able to remove from the collection. All they will do is be able to see what's in your private collection. It's a view-only type of thing, okay? But here, copy link. This is awesome. And of course, it would probably be more appropriate for a shared collection so that people have better access to it. But I would be able to copy that link, and it gets copied to your clipboard. And now let's do this. I'm going to launch a separate web browser. Oh, thank you, Firefox, for updating. Okay, and I'm going to paste that link in there, hit return. It's going to ask me to log in. So I'm going to do that. And once I log in, it's going to take me straight away. It should take me straight away to my collection results. So I very rarely use Firefox, so it's taking a moment or two longer to load. There we go. And look, there are the 2 items that are in that collection. Okay, so that was a real easy thing to do. And now you can actually copy and paste that link. So I've covered my list of things that are new. Someone is asking, can I sort or search by videos longer than 5 minutes? Let's look. I don't know, Melissa. I'm going to have to, I'll make a note of that, and I don't know the answer, but I will make the answer available to you and to everybody else. You should be able to search on that, but I'm not sure I've made that viewable in my video length here. So I'm thinking you should be able to do it, but let me confirm that. Okay. Any other questions for me? Any other suggestions? Anything that you'd like us to talk about in future chats? So, okay, so let's wrap up with this. There are a couple of other things that are really cool. So I just wanted to mention a couple of things. Let me go back to my keynote. So just in the one more thing department, we're working on facial recognition. Now, I know you've seen us do demos, and some of you are actually using our integration with Google Cloud Vision software to add additional metadata tags or do OCR on content. Well, we're actually working on our own facial recognition. It's currently in development. It should be in a form to show maybe for our next month's chat. If not, certainly the month after that, but we are looking to start releasing it in Q4 of this year. And basically the way it works is you can tag a face, and Merlin will go through your other content and try to identify that face in all of your other photos. And so for those of you that are shooting events that have lots of people in it, and I know one of your pain points is how to identify people, real easily after the fact. And so this is something that will help in that regard. So basically, you've seen facial recognition in other applications like Apple's Photos application or other things that I'm sure you're working with. And so this is something that we're working on, and we're going to take this AI for facial recognition and build on that in the future and do some other AI functions going forward. But we're really excited about the AI function, and I can't wait to show that to you later on. So if there are no other questions, and I'll pause just for a second to catch my breath and see if you can type faster than I can say goodbye. We'll wrap up today's chat. I do apologize for the audio issues. I'll probably edit those little sections out of our video before we post it. So warning for large downloads. Okay, great. So Melissa's asked a question about warning for large downloads. And so let's do that real quickly. So what I'm going to do here is let's clear this. I'm going to click on search. I'm going to get a whole bunch of content up on the screen. And so I'm just going to grab all of these. I'm going to grab all of these. And if you try and download all of these, actually 41 megs, it's not complaining about that. But basically, you would get a message up here with a little yellow warning triangle saying, hey, you've got more than X number of files. It might be bigger than a gig, actually. And then it will actually flag it and let you know that you've got a lot of files. It will let you proceed, though. So you just get a little warning dialog here on your output or export windows. All right. Hey, great. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to chatting with you again next month. Again, please send us your suggestions for chats if you'd like to have that, or any other topics. Have a good day. Oh, another question. Okay. Will you see a progress bar? No, Melissa, you won't, but that is very, very high on our list. I can't tell you when we're going to have that, but it is something that we're actively looking at. So this was kind of the first step, was getting the warning. We do want to be able to do better progress, letting you know about the progress on both download and upload, and having that be a little bit more informative to you. So that was a great question. Thanks for asking it. And of course, we'll show that to you once we've included that in the user interface. It is something we're actively working on. Okay, so you took me to exactly 30 minutes. So thanks, everybody. Look forward to chatting with you again. Have a good day and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.